to our spirituality and to everything that we know within. And so because of this, we at first when we started, people were saying, oh, okay, I feel like this isn't that big of a deal, not to degrade or not to say or negate that there's not a virus, that there's not things going on. But as time has gone on, we don't feel like things are right, but we don't know we can stand up. And now we're coming back again to our intuition to say, wait a second. Everything you may have told me, I'm starting to see the other side, like Jeremy was saying. I'm starting to research it and see the other side. But we were being deprogrammed in a sense to be more into the fear factor, exactly what Nicole was sharing with us and Jeremy at the beginning. Be in the fear factor, think we need a mask, think we need certain things. Not saying that it's not real, but the fear, the anxiety comes in, which lowers everything that we've talked about. And we were deprogramming ourselves, and we have been separation of church and state. For some people, I've heard a lot of people arguing on the phones now. They want to go back to church. They say they've been watching their services of all religions on the TV or on Facebook or video, but it's not the same for them. And they're having the intuition to go back because they want to be back to what that connection is. And for them, that's that intuition. Yes. So as everyone's out there, find the strength in your intuition, look for your truth within, and find the balance too, because otherwise we're doing the ups and downs, and that's where we can really become victim of the loosh and not really be part of our intuition and what we're called to be doing. As Karen was saying, be the light workers to the world and bring that positivity and fullness of love back in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Fuck. Yeah.
If I could
And
just, about that whole opposition and resistance and this idea of how pearls are formed through friction. I put out a post today that was very logically well thought out. It wasn't super emotionally charged, other than like, I really don't want to give the world over to psychopaths to run, because I
Mhm.
want the children behind me to have a world worth living in. But this, one of the things like I really try to focus on is, okay, they're helping me get more comfortable with speaking my truth despite the resistance, despite the opposition. And for many of us, we've gone through many incarnations where we've been through this before and we've had our voice completely silenced. Either we've been killed, we've been put into purgatory, we've been, whatever it's been, we've gone through this. And in a way, they're creating opportunities for us to rise up and break that cycle. That cycle ends in this lifetime. It ends with this ascension where we all get our voices back, and they're giving us the opportunity to keep rising up that ladder, to keep hitting the next rung. Okay, thanks for making me feel a little bit more comfortable. Now I feel more comfortable to say this. And there's a part too where now I just kind of have to laugh at some of it, because if you can't laugh at and I don't mean I'm laughing because they're ridiculous, although some of the stuff is just ridiculous, but laughing in a sense of like, wow, how did we get here?
Yeah. Yeah. When we look at this universe, this whole entire universe, this is one verse of the multiverse, right? This universe is based on vibration. Vibration is oscillation. So it's like this, right? This is an oscillation. Now, how many times that moves is the frequency in which we're moving, right? But oscillation is polarity. It's good and bad. This whole entire structure that we're in is all based on light and darkness. And it really is about being in the middle. It's being at that homeostasis balance between both polarities. If you go too far to the right, you get taken over. If you go too far to the left, you get taken over. The idea is to really be balanced in the light itself. So we understand.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, because it's coming off what you're saying. And there's a question in my chat that I think a lot of people are struggling with, and maybe you could continue what you're saying, but answer this.
Okay.
Debbie Briggs is asking, please explain to me the higher purpose for the raging hatred I see in half the population.
Okay, so what happens is there's oscillation. So when we look at our existence, right, we take a 26,000 year, some call it the great year, some call it the precession of the equinox. There's many names for it. So what happens is we descend down and then we ascend back up. So we go into 12,000 years of darkness, 12,000 years of light, where we ascend and we come back up. We're just coming out of the dark ages. We're just coming out of completely forgetting who we are. We descended down in consciousness and completely forgotten who we are. That's part of the oscillation of the dark side. Now we're moving to the light side. So what's happening now is we're shifting into the awakening process, but there's still so much darkness that is trying to hold on to everything that it can to keep us down. But what's beautiful about that is It's up to us individually. Nobody's going to come here and save us now. There's no second coming of an individual. You are the second coming of the awakening within you, the blossoming within you, because it's you that's going to shift yourself into this other higher reality. So when you have these people that are still, shall we say, in the dark, they're still in the dark because they have descended down in this 12,000 year process. And it took a long time to get from here, from a very high state of evolution, of understanding who we are, forget that completely and have the experience of completely forgetting who you are, why you're here. And that's a beautiful thing, to be able to take that step down, that journey down, to forget who you are, so that you can experience the energy and light in a completely separated expression and experience from the Godhead itself. So as we have descended down, most everybody has forgotten who they are now. When you find, like, it's interesting, like through my talk to clients, a lot of them have this feeling of, I don't really know what my purpose is. I know I want to help people. And it's funny because everybody coming out of the woodwork now really wants to help people. Everybody really wants to get into the service realm where they want to coach people. They want to help people. And I'm sure everybody on here has this sense of, I really love people. I want to help people. There's so many people coming out like that because that's our nature. Our nature is to share with each other and to lift up each other and bring the bridge up. And that's the enlightenment that's coming. But the darkness is there. This is why we have this thing called the Loosh. We are energetic beings. We see our physical body. Most people just think that we're just physical bodies. But there's 7 subtle bodies that are right outside of us that are energetic. And we can use these. We use them all the time. Where do your thoughts come from? Just think about that. Where do your thoughts come from? Now you could say, well, my thoughts are coming from my programming that I received. And when I think a thought, it's based on experience that I had back in the day, and it's creating synapses to fire off, making connections and associations. That could be true, right? That's a part of it. But where do new ideas come from? Where does a completely new idea, if you want to create something, where does that creative thought come from? There is an energetic realm where thoughts reside, and that's called the mental body, right? It's called the celestial body of the human. And when we get into these higher realms within us, it's not going anywhere. It's right here within us. These energy realms are right here. It's tapping into those energy realms that we're able to see higher perspectives of ourselves. The thing is, we have forgotten how to tap into that. You know, when I say the aura or energetic realities around us, people are like, that's bullshit. You know, like, I can't see it, doesn't exist. But the fact is we are now waking up, we are ascending, and we are becoming aware and awake to these energies that are all around us. And that's why this Loosh has a hold in our reality. That's why Satan has a hold in our reality. All it is this dark energy. It's part of dark and light, polar opposites. And that's its whole entire reality is based on polar opposites.
And as you're saying that, a beautiful soul, he's in my watch party, Arai Taka from Japan, he's saying light and darkness are both light, having different frequencies. All spectrum power include both light and darkness. He's just sharing his thoughts and feelings with what you're saying. And I agree. And like you say, darkness, Satan, it's that energy. They're at these different vibrations, and that's what we're all trying to balance. And you know, Jamie's bringing in the astrology and sharing with us too. We've had so many things that just happened. We had this amazing full moon. We're having everything going retrograde, and everyone usually thinks like, oh, retrograde, scream, you know. And no, it's actually a great thing for us to be visiting and being in. And we need to be able to look at all the positive ways of how all of this helps us. And if you really believe in source and you're really feeling your intuition and you know God, source, spirit, universe, that is for you that word, if you really start to feel that, you know that all of this was created for a bigger, larger good for us all to connect to. And it's all there for a purpose. And a lot of that purpose is for our awakening. It's for our ascension process. It's for our soul journey so that we can do it in a much more positive, profound, loving way. And that's why we really wanted to bring up this Loosh effect, so that we can kind of start to move ourselves out of that and not lose sight of this beautiful time. We're in the fall in the Southern Hemisphere. We're in the spring here. It's such a wonderful time everywhere. And this is actually a beautiful time that we can really be doing our renewing process. And we
Yeah.
have all of these astrological things to be taking a hold of, and new moons and full moons that are so powerful right now at this point in time. And we're overlooking it all because of these fear-based, these fears and anxieties that are being thrown at us day by day, moment by moment. And right when you think you get out of it, somebody else that you love and know brings it to you very personally. And since we're such empaths, we're really feeling it. And whether it because of their divorce, whether because I don't know what to do with my kids because I've never homeschooled before, whatever it might be, we're bringing these in, right? So it's just our time as these light workers, as these beautiful souls, get rebalanced, get refocused, take your salt baths, get grounded, whatever way, meditation, prayer, whatever it is for you, but find that way to rebalance and just get in touch with this beautiful, amazing time that we're all experiencing.
You know, Dave was talking about the precession of the equinox. And if we look at that, it looks like we're just getting out and going into the age of Aquarius right now. And we're coming out of the age of Pisces. And Pisces represents illusion and the dream world. So we've all been asleep. You're talking about forgetting. It's because we've been put asleep in this illusion. We have a lot of illusion around us. And so when we wake up in Aquarius, it's the water barrier. It's like being woken up with being splashed with water. It's like none of us know how to handle it. It's, whoa, how are we reacting to this situation? Right? It's a big wake-up call. So I think that's a lot of where we're coming from with this fear is we're being splashed in the face with this reality. And some of us are seeing the QAnon stuff and going down that rabbit hole, and some of us are seeing the other side of it and going down that rabbit hole of fear and the COVID and what's going on, and it's all part of the awakening process. And like I was saying before, these retrogrades really invite us to go back within ourselves, take a moment and pause and rethink, reconnect, and then start to receive. That's what we're here for.
You know, if you have spent your whole life just believing in everything that you're told, right? What your parents teach you, what your teachers teach you, then what you're watching on television, and it really depends upon what channel you're watching is what you believe, right?
Right.
I want to pose to you all how your tools and your tips on helping people decipher their own truth, right? Because now you hold this thing in front of you and it's told to you that it's truth. And I'm going to give an example because it's so silly, but it really blew my mind this week. I posted, and my people, you've heard this already, but I'm doing it anyway. I posted a little meme about what you're supposed to feed ducks and what you're not supposed to feed ducks on my wall. And my brother piped in. He's so wise, and he actually reads my posts, unlike most people. And he said, so you're allowed to feed ducks rice, but you're not allowed to give birds rice, and that's why you can't throw rice at weddings? And I said, what? It says you can feed ducks rice? Wait a minute, I can't give birds rice. And so I did a Google search, and it turns out you can absolutely give birds rice. The church doesn't want you to give the birds rice or throw rice because it's hard to clean up, and there is a liability of when people slip on it. So the truth, I was just blown away that they lied to me, right? But seriously, I took that as truth. Like, the church said this to me, and I believed it to be true. And so if this little thing isn't true, what else isn't true? Is really kind of where I go with that, right? So now every day I'm sort of looking for a new thing that isn't necessarily true. Isn't that interesting? That's sort of what awakened in me. But one thing that I like to do when I'm contemplating a truth or not is to sit quietly and take that thing, whatever it is, and put it in my heart, right? And see how it feels when I visually like close my eyes and settle in and put it here, and see how it feels inside my heart, whether or not it feels right to me. If it doesn't feel right to me, then you really need to begin to question the truth, no matter what it is. And it's a good practice to go into, like just putting your name. How does that feel to you? And I mean this for real. And then put in something that you're not in a line with, some loosh. Don't keep it there for very long, but you know, put it in there and see what it feels like. So it's uncomfortable in there. And then you can really begin to use this as a tool for yourself to gauge what is true and not true for you. You guys have other ones?
I think that, go ahead, Jeremy.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's literally what we're collectively going through right now.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
That, I mean, everything that people thought was the truth from a child's perspective, but adult perspective now,
Yeah.
like all this trust. I trusted the media. I trusted the government. I trusted the FDA. I trusted, you know, my church. It's like about to get real fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Hmm. Mm. Yeah. And I think, like, kind of tying into everything that we're saying, what you're saying here, if we look at our thoughts, right, and we look at the non-truths and the truths that we think are true, when something is said and you're defending it, like with your heart and soul, you are defending it. Are you absolutely sure? Did you do the research yourself? You absolutely sure that what you're defending is the absolute truth? Now it's now more than ever, we have to start doing our own research. We have to dig a little bit further than just the surface face of what's being presented to us, because we know that there's a lot of manipulation going on the surface. We have to look through it, and we have to look at the other person's point of view. So really should never get into a debate where you're so absolutely right. Are you absolutely sure that you're right? Did you do the research, or are you just reiterating what somebody else said somewhere else, and you just believe that person because they're a nice person? Like, now is really time to do your own research, to really dig in and define your absolute. Would be that you do your own research and say, you know what, this is what I did. I looked at this, and there's no reason ever to raise your voice and get mad about someone else's opinion. Never. That's their opinion. You have an opinion, their opinion. But really, what is your opinion, and where are you getting your sources from? And is it an absolute truth? So if you're going to defend something, defend that you have a heart, defend that you have a body, defend that you have a soul. Absolutely. You have a heart, body, and soul. Defending something that's happening outside, especially with COVID, especially with the government, you really don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much going on that we really don't know. And you have to do your own research and look at both sides of the defense. Really.
And I just want to reiterate, the whole research is going to be coming up again on Thursday when we go into retrograde Jupiter, because it's all about what you're learning and how you're learning it. That's what Jupiter's about. It's how you learn and what you learn about. And it's in the sign of Capricorn, which is very fixed, and it knows its way. It has a list of how it does things. And so we are supported with doing our own research right now, with going inside and getting that intelligence from the source.
Yeah. Can I also
I'm glad
just
you
say
said
that,
because
sorry, Jess, I'll be quick. With the Venus retrograde that's happening, it's, we think about the planet Venus, she's like the divine feminine energy, right? She represents our values, beauty, pleasure, finances. But she's like our divine feminine planet. And then you have it going retrograde in the sign of Gemini, which is a very masculine sign. And so it's all about, how do you bring heart and mind into coherence right now through this retrograde? You're having a lot of reflection on, how do we find the balance of the beauty of logic and communication and critically analyzing things, looking at data factually without emotional charges, but then also what does that mean from the feminine side? How do we bring in the balance of their feminine energy and how we bring value to that through that feminine energy? Because that's really kind of what we're in a war of right now. We have one side that's much more in emotionally charged places, and we have the other side that's much more logically coming at the situation. And so we're seeing this kind of battle of masculine and feminine happening, the dark and the light. Remember, the dark represents the feminine energy, the light represents the masculine energy. It doesn't mean that darkness is bad. Darkness is not bad. The void is dark. It is completely void of light, and that's where all creation comes from. That's where you find the stillness, and everything just instantly comes to you. And remember that in absolute darkness and in absolute lightness, both are blind.
Yep.
You can be blinded by full light and you can be blinded by the darkness. So it's all about harmonizing the two energies together. And we're kind of going through that right now.
Perfect. That was well said.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
real,
you
real
said
quick,
that, and at the
Jessica.
end I was like, blinded by the light.
As Nicole was saying that, right? It dawned on me, like, think about all the people that we watch, like say Byron Katie. I mean, all these people that are up on stage sharing their experience. They're sharing, they went through this crazy darkness in their life, and then they came out transformed, and they're sharing their transformation. So it was going through that darkness that really brings on the transformation that we need. So we're going through this dark phase right now, but the transformation that's coming out of this for each and every one of us is going to be amazing. It's going to be
Big.
amazing. Absolutely.
Very big.
And that's definitely what I wanted to get into with since what Jamie was saying, Nicole, and you all just carried on through. And when we started with at the beginning is, don't forget, because we all started talking about how all these truths that we've been taught since we were young, our parents told us, XYZ person in our life, our teachers, medical school, my teachers, and one of my friends from medical school, he's on, and one time in pathology, they told us there was somebody, the book says one thing, rabbins and rabbins, everyone that's been in pathology knows that book, like you've studied it like the Bible, and our teacher said something completely different. Well, all of us went and put the answer that's the correct answer worldwide, and they said, I'm sorry, your teacher lectured you completely different, so this is going to be the right answer, and all of us failed that question. But we were told it doesn't matter, like their word is the word. But at the same time, it was just like one of those funny things. You're like, okay, because they don't want to say they're wrong. And this comes back to what we're saying is that research, do your own research, listen to your own intuition. But yet everything Nicole was saying and Jason here at the end, don't forget to give room to everyone else that's growing, because our parents may have told us one thing. I have noticed even with my parents, as we're moving into this Aquarius stage that we're talking about, as we're moving into this new golden light area, as we're moving into these new cosmic shifts and ascension, they're seeing things from different views that maybe I saw it the way they're seeing it now, like since I was young, but I couldn't really speak up. We're all starting to see things. So let's give that love and that extra space so that people can change their thoughts. Because what has happened a lot in society is we continue to hold that mold over somebody. And when they're trying to break their own molds, it's unfair of us to put them back in that mold. So as we're going through these phases, as people are trying to open up and see things in a whole new way, this is definitely when Jeremy, you were talking about, oh yeah, I can see that in that way. Yeah, you're right. We could see that in that way as well. Lisa Jackson was saying, yes, let's help them get comfortable being uncomfortable. Well, the ones that knew prior that are breaking their mold and coming into this awakening, let's help them get comfortable as well as light workers, and let's just give them that unconditional love so that as something that's a little bit uncomfortable for them, they can actually come to it in a new place. And if we can build that, then we don't go into that whole chaos, and we are not blinded by the darkness completely or the light. And as a friend of mine's on here right now too, she's saying, be aware of perceptions. And that's definitely something we do need to be aware of perceptions, not just other people's perceptions. We need to be very aware of our own perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
We deserve to be aware of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Well,
were
if
missing
Debbie's
last
on
week.
here, isn't it Debbie's birthday today? I can't hear you, Jamie. Oh, she's not on? I can't hear Jamie, Jay.
Yeah, she's
Jamie
muted.
Sorry, my dog was drinking water before. Yeah, I think she's out for her birthday. Before we go on, though, I just want, because Jeremy touched on this being balanced, and it reminded me of what Karen was saying, how she takes this whatever information with her into her heart, and that's your center. That's really where you're balanced, and she sits with it and kind of transmutes it. Right? It takes this energy and mutes it. And that's really being balanced. That's really seeing both sides and really changing the energy and making it work for you. You know, also, I had an experience this week talking about Loosh and negative comments. And I had responded to one of my family members' posts, and it went against what she believed. And I found out she deleted me. And so I felt like hurt at first. Like I really felt like sad about it. Like, wow, that just happened. This is we're family and I can't even have an opinion. I'm an adult, you know? And I really got upset about it. And now I'm thinking like, you know what? If she's not open enough to receive another person's opinion, do I really want her to be on my page? Because I can't guarantee I'm going to shut my mouth. You know, so I kind of understand and respect the decision now. Like, that's fine. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm. And
Yeah, somebody
advice.
well, and that
offers.
goes back to the whole perceptions, and we deserve to honor our journey, but we also deserve to honor their journey.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just pushing things on them that they're not ready for or they don't want, and then we're doing the
Mhm.
same kind of thing to them that we don't want done to us. So it's about it goes back to that heart center, being connected with your intuition, with that divine source as well, allowing yourself to be balanced because you deserve to do it, but allowing them to be balanced however they want to be balanced, right? If they want to stay unbalanced, then they can stay unbalanced, but we're here to help you if you want help. But we're here to give you the unconditional love, but we will honor your journey that you choose for you.
And just like Nicole was saying, that question you had before from your feed, we're all awakening, and we're not awakening at the same time. No two people are awakening at the same time. We're all like awakening at our own levels. And if somebody offers you a gift and you don't take it, who's the gift belong to? It belongs to the person giving the gift, right? So if somebody's giving you a bunch of stuff and you don't take that on into your being, guess what? It's theirs. It's their stuff. It's not your stuff. Just because someone thinks you're stupid or you don't get it doesn't mean you have to believe what they're saying or even argue with them. That's your thing. You can think whatever you want to think. If you want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation. But there's no reason to ever take on someone's stuff about you. You got to be okay with yourself and know who you are and love yourself for who you are, really. But nobody's
Yeah.
awakening at the same
I
time.
love
We're
you.
all
No.
awakening. It's like,
And it's not
Wow.
our job. It's not our job to awaken anyone other than ourselves. So just keep it turned inward when you can. It doesn't mean you can't speak what you need to speak or defend yourself when you need to defend yourself and stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
But always just try to keep it inward, you know, in a sense of like reflection and growth and modeling, you know, because people will observe you. if you stay in your truth and you stay in your own integrity and how you wish to act in this world, people will notice you. Not everyone who's ready to go there with you, but the people who are starting to look and watch and are ready to make a transition, they'll be gravitating towards you, and they'll be using you as a model for helping them move through this.
So there are things that you can do to help. Learning about yourself and your own feelings, and looking at that emotional scale and doing a check-in and trying to stay on a higher vibration. But the power of prayer is immense. And if you feel as though you're in a space of down or loss and defeated even, know that your power of prayer is making a massive difference. As Jeremy said before, we don't recognize the power we own inside. And if you can just activate that energy, you are doing so much for humanity. You have no idea.
Yeah. And when you pray or meditate in numbers, it's even more powerful, because we are powerful in numbers. We are powerful when we come together. And I just want to leave you with my last thought, I think anyway, is that we really need to go inward right now. It's all about self-love. When we have self-love, we get to stand in our power. And when we stand in our power, we stand in love. We don't stand in fear. So the Loosh won't exist in the power of your own self-love. So remember, inward this week, inward this whole month.
Yeah, good advice. It's important.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 I just wanted to quickly say before we end, we're all wanting to see the truth come out, whatever that is. I'm sure all of us are going to be surprised at some point, one or the way or the other. If you want to see truth in your outer world, you have to be able to see all of the truth within you. So just keep working on going through your own shadows. Start bringing some truths to the surface that you've been ignoring, maybe avoiding, and just keep digging, keep going in there, because as you do that, you're feeding into the timeline of awakening and truth on the outer plane. And so that's just all I wanted to say there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you to everyone watching.
Yeah.
Everyone watching, because we're
Yeah.
all you guys are here. We're all resonating together. Like I said, we're all awakening, but you're here with us, and we are resonating on the same frequency band. We are all in this together, and I want to thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your comments. I see on all these pages that we have going on, there's so many different comments coming in, and thank you all. I mean, we love being here with you. We love resonating with you. We love your energy. It's fantastic. And Jessica, what were you saying?
Beautiful rest of the week. I was going to say a beautiful rest of the week for everyone else and your manifestations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
Well,
so,
thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you all so much.
Guys.
Much
Beautiful
love,
evening.
much love, much love.
Love to all.
Bye.
Enjoy the awakening. Enjoy
Yes.
the awakening.
Yes.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, see y'all. See y'all
Bye.
next week. Karen, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.